Hey, good Tuesday morning, everybody. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Penovich. Really complicated setup here over the next couple of days with a stalled front and tropical systems. Let me try to break it all down for you because it could be a couple interesting days here in the Carolinas. Let's first of all start with the wide view. Couple things you notice. We've got a stalled front sitting across the Carolinas. I actually think it's a little bit further south than what's being depicted on our map here. So I'm going to pause this real quickly. I think the front is actually probably right in here where you see the rain band. So it's somewhere in there just to give you an idea where it is. Now what's interesting is we've got some pretty cool air just to the north. So we're getting a little bit of break. The dew points are in the 50s and 60s up here, and to the south they're still in the 70s. So as we go in closer with the temperatures, notice we've got some cooler air up here with some warmer air down to the south. So there's clearly a demarcation between some really warm, humid air, which to the south you can see these are the dew point temperatures. Look how juicy this air is. That's very tropical air, and that's kind of key to what the problem's going to be today. To the north, you can see the air is much drier, and that's where we're probably going to see some better weather today. Now, complicating all this is our potential tropical system down in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is likely going to become Tropical Storm Cindy later today, and you could look at the system real carefully here, and it's pretty lopsided. I'm going to show you a different view, the GOES 16 imagery, and I'll stop it right here. You can see we've got a naked system. What I mean by that is the low is actually exposed. All the storms are on the east side. Now, this means this isn't going to be a strong storm. This is not going to become a hurricane, maybe not even a strong tropical storm. This is not about wind or storm surge. This is about tropical moisture. All of this moisture on the east side is going to move north and eventually interact with that front that was stalled over our region. So you can see the track from the Hurricane Center. It actually tracks really far to the west of us, all the way up through eastern Texas, western Louisiana, into Arkansas. But with this big fetch of moisture, tropical moisture coming up here, it might get squeezed against the front. So as we start looking at some of the long-range guidance, I'm going to show you what I think is going to happen. Now, one of the first things we look at is the precipitable water. This is how much moisture is in the atmosphere that you could squeeze out. And you get to 2 inches. That's super tropical. Watch what happens on the GFS model as the tropical system moves north. Notice we start to see, whoops, let me stop this 48 hours out. There we go. We'll stop it there. Man, I don't know why it will not stop at 48 hours. Let's try this again. There we go. Man, it does not want to stop at 48 hours. But notice that we've got the front stalled in here, and look at all that rich tropical moisture. Now, the heaviest rain is going to be down along the Gulf Coast, that's for sure. The question is, how far north does that heavy rain get? Does it get into the Carolinas? GFS is the most bullish. It's going to bring some really heavy rain. This would be a huge flash flood issue for us, especially Thursday into Friday. You can see that big surge of moisture right there. That's 2.5 inches of precipitable water. So we're looking at some big time rains here. Just to show you, this is the forecast for 7 days for the rainfall. And notice we've got a pretty good swath of 2 to 3 inches here. Back in here, we've got some 4 and 5, and look at the heavy rain down here. Now, the one thing we got to watch out for is the rain going to be heavier here in the Carolinas, because if the low is over here and we get that moisture to feed north, not only do we get it squeezed against the front, but it gets squeezed up against the mountains. So we could see some huge rainfall totals in the Carolinas, especially maybe today, but really I think that Thursday, Friday time frame. In the next 48 hours, you can see how the front is active today into tonight. You see the rain moving through, and this isn't even the worst of it. You see the rain kind of move out tomorrow, beginning to break up as the tropical system moves to our west. Then, as we get towards Wednesday into Thursday, that moisture starts to push back into our region, and this is where we would see that second surge of moisture. So we've got to watch this potential on the GFS model, because if this happens right in here, this is basically a Thursday night, this would be really problematic for our area. That would be some huge rainfall totals and certainly some flash flooding. So that's what we're going to be watching over the next 24 to 36 hours. And the good news with this, I guess, if there's good news, we don't need more rain, is we're not going to get that heat wave it looked like we're going to get this weekend because of this tropical system plowing into the ridge. This is essentially going to keep us in cloudy, cool, wet weather, but it's going to feel very tropical around here for the next couple of days as heavy rain moves in. So be prepared, especially if you live along the state line south and in the mountains. I think the biggest risk for flash flooding is going to be right in here. This will be the area we're going to have to watch for flash flooding. In fact, I think we're going to see probably a moderate risk for flash flooding starting Wednesday night into Thursday and possibly into Friday. So I'll have you covered throughout the afternoon. We'll start at 4, 5, and 6, and we'll start talking about the potential of some heavy rains, not directly associated with what is going to be Tropical Storm Sydney, but indirectly thanks to all this moisture coming north and a stalled frontal boundary.